actually impacts our life, what it does. The touch of the Lord, number one, it heals. It heals. It heals. The touch of the Lord heals. I want you to notice Mark chapter 8, verse 23 through 25. Notice this. You've heard me talk about this before. Then he came to Bethsaida, and they brought a blind man to him and begged him to touch him. Begged him to touch him. They begged him to touch him. He's blind. I beg you, touch him. So he took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes and had put his hands on him, he asked him if he saw anything. And he looked up and said, I see men like trees walking. And then he put his hands on his eyes again and made him look up, and he was restored, and everyone saw clearly. Jesus healed this man because he touched him. He could have done it by the word alone, but he said, you know what, I need to touch this brother. He's blind, he has no vision, I need to touch his life. His life needs a touch from above. And Jesus came down from above to then touch his life. And I want you to see here in the story, I talked from this passage about the second touch, and how when Jesus touched him the first time, his vision was not cleared. And then he touched him again, and then it cleared up. He had to have a second touch. I'm just telling you, we're living in a day now where it's time for a second touch. We've had the former rain, but we need a latter rain to give us a second touch now. We need another divine encounter with God. I didn't say another philosophy. I didn't say another teaching series. I mean a touch from God, a touch from God. There's some things that will never be changed in us until we get a touch from God. And when I really studied the passage more carefully, I realized that I had miscounted. It wasn't a second touch. It was actually a third touch. Because if you'll notice back in Mark chapter 8, in verse 22, then he came to Bethsaida, and they brought a blind man to him and begged him to touch him. And so notice, here's the first touch. He took the blind man by the hand. That was the first touch. Your first touch ought to be giving a person a hand. It ought to be relational. It ought to be reaching out even before you try to speak life and to try to correct them and to do all of that. You need to build relational equity. You don't even have a right to talk to everybody. Listen, I mean, everybody has the right to speak. Hear me carefully. Everybody has the right to speak, but you must earn the right to be heard. It is the touching of the hand that actually gives you the right to be heard, because they understand me that even while I'm living in darkness and walking in darkness and I don't understand what I'm doing, but yet somebody has touched my hand.